Premier League festive programme begins in earnest on Saturday when Wigan and Arsenal kick off round 18. The hosts suffered a 5th defeat in 7 when they were beaten 2-1 at Norwich last week, and that poor run has seen them slump into the drop zone ahead of this clash. Boss Roberto Martinez is hoping to shore up his defence with the returns of Gary Caldwell and Ivan Ramis from injury, but James McCarthy is struggling to be available after he was forced off at half-time against the Canaries. Arsenal averted another crisis when they hammered Reading 5-2 on Monday night, a result that certainly eased the pressure on Arsene Wenger, who will point to the fact that victory at the DW Stadium would take his side fourth. The Gunners have no new injury concerns ahead of the trip north and look set to stick with contract rebel Theo Walcott as a central striker after he netted his 7th goal in 8 games at the Madejski Stadium. Fellow strugglers Southampton and Sunderland go head-to-head in a relegation 6-pointer. After a poor start to the campaign, Southampton have found some form at just the right time, with victory over Reading last time out making it 11 points taken from a possible 18. Nigel Adkins' side have had the benefit of a 2-week break after Chelsea's involvement in the Club World Cup put pay to their match against the Blues last weekend. But despite the extra recovery time, Adam Lallana is struggling to make Saturday, as is keeper Paolo Gazzaniga, meaning veteran stopper Calvin Davis should retain his place between the sticks. Sunderland surrendered meekly against Manchester United last week, meaning it's just 2 wins in 12 matches for the Black Cats, a run that has seen them slip to within a point of the relegation zone, just a place above their opponents. Injuries are also a concern for boss Martin O'Neill, who saw top scorer Stephen Fletcher suffer another knock at Old Trafford. He's now struggling to be fit in time, whilst Lee Cattermole and Phil Bardsley are definitely out. Saturday's late game is at Anfield, where Liverpool face Fulham. The Reds had looked like getting their act together before last week's 3-1 home reverse by Aston Villa. It was a real blow for boss Brendan Rodgers, who maintains his belief that Liverpool can claim a top 4 finish. Rodgers has admitted that Raheem Sterling needs a rest, so Spanish starlet Suso stands by to deputise, while John Joe Shelvey is battling to be fit after he was forced off at the break on Saturday. If he fails to make it, Joe Cole could be in line for a rare league start. Fulham boss Martin Jol blasted his players after their poor display at Loftus Road last week, which saw them become the first side to lose against QPR this season. Jol may recall Alex Kasaniklic and Mladen Petric in response to that below-par performance, while the Cottagers are sweating on the fitness of Sasha Reether, so Stephen Kelly looks set to start at right back. There are 5 more fixtures on Saturday. They see bottom club Reading face the arduous task of taking on Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. Struggling Newcastle will hope to end QPR's revival when Harry Redknapp's side travel to St James's Park. Top 4 chasing Tottenham have a tough nut to crack when Stoke comes south. Norwich will look to extend their unbeaten run at West Brom, while injury-hit West Ham face Everton, minus the suspended Marouane Fellaini. There are 2 games on Sunday, starting with Swansea versus Manchester United. After a 7-match unbeaten run, the Swans slipped to their 2nd successive defeat at Tottenham last time out. But despite the 1-0 reverse, boss Michael Laudrup remains upbeat ahead of the league leaders' visit to South Wales. The Dane is hopeful that top scorer Michu will have recovered fully from being briefly knocked out at White Hart Lane. And although Pablo Hernandez will again be missing through injury, Sunday could see the return of keeper Michel Vorm after a lengthy spell out. United's 3-1 victory over Sunderland last week maintained the Red Devils' 6-point lead at the summit and ensured that they will top the table at Christmas. Sir Alex Ferguson will have been delighted to see Nemanja Vidic return against the Wearsiders, but he faces new injury concerns in the shape of Michael Carrick and Tom Cleverley, who are both struggling to make Sunday's clash and join a growing list of absentees. Round 18 comes to a close at Stamford Bridge when Chelsea take on Aston Villa. The Blues' last Premier League match saw them triumph 3-1 at Sunderland 2 weeks ago. Since then, they've been competing in the Club World Cup. Their loss in the final saw Gary Cahill sent off, but the centre-back will be available on Sunday after completing his suspension against Leeds in the midweek cup win. Frank Lampard is available again after injury, whilst John Terry and Daniel Sturridge could also be in contention. Aston Villa pulled off the performance of round 17 when they won 3-1 at Anfield, a result that lifted Paul Lambert's men 3 points clear of the drop zone. Villa will again be without record signing Darren Bent, but that's of little concern due to the current form of front duo Andreas Weimann and Christian Benteke. The Belgian was unplayable against Liverpool, scoring twice and setting up another for his strike partner. The possible return of Gabriel Agbonlahor will boost Lambert's options, but Ron Vlaar is unlikely to be fit as a calf injury keeps the Dutchman sidelined.